Welcome to the TV6 Digital News Alert Desk. I'm meteorologist Kiel with the latest on the winter storm that is going to be heading our way as we head into Thursday. And this will be a pretty high impact event for the area, especially given the fact that the most snow that we've seen out of one system, at least in the metro, has been just about between 2.5 and 3 inches. So we're probably going to end up with a little bit more than that. And we'll get into the details here in just a moment. But I'm going to switch over to our graphic source here. And you're going to be able to see that we do have that first alert day that is in effect starting at midnight tonight for much of the TV6 viewing area. In fact, we could probably change that to all of the TV6 viewing area, no matter where you're at. That's where we are going to have some snow and possibly even a little bit of sleet as well, especially on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River. So this is moderate to heavy snow along with some wind. It's going to be a little windier than the last system with 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts. Also, the consistency of this snow is going to be more of the lighter variety compared to that really heavy wet snow that we had around here last week. So this will be easier to clear. It's not going to be the lightest snow in the world, but it will certainly be a little easier to clear than what we had around here last week. And again, this first alert day will be in effect from midnight until 7 o'clock. And that takes us right through that evening commute. So hopefully things would start to improve after that, but we will have falling temperatures behind the system. So the latest update from what you saw from Teresa on the TV6 News at noon, a little bit of an expansion on the winter storm warning. That's the areas that are shaded in the pink region. You'll notice that Rock Island, Scott County, Whiteside County, and Carroll County now included. It's also been expanded to Henry, Louisa, and Muscatine County. So the Metro Quad Cities included in this winter storm warning, and this goes from midnight to 6 o'clock Thursday for moderate to heavy snow, gusty winds creating low visibility. And of course, slick roads are going to be a concern as well, especially because this snow could fall about a ½ to inch an hour here as we head into probably about the mid-morning hours on your Thursday morning. So we're going to continue to keep track of this here as we head throughout the next 24 hours or so. So let's go ahead and time everything out with exact track. Here we are at midnight tonight. Notice most of the area is still pretty quiet. We're still going to keep that first alert day in effect starting at midnight, but it's going to be between midnight and 5 a.m. where we really start to see that snow impact the area. So by 7 o'clock, areas around the Mississippi River and points to the west will be dealing with some snow, and it will pick up in intensity here as we head through the morning hours. Now, keep in mind, the latest indications are that we will have temperatures aloft a little above freezing. So that's going to lead to the potential for freezing rain and sleet to mix in initially, especially on the Illinois side of the river southeast of the Quad Cities. So that might cut down on those totals just a bit. However, if those temperatures are just 2-3 degrees cooler, that might turn into all snow, which could lead to even higher totals on the Illinois side of the river. So the timing, rough timing for it to get started west of the river is going to be anywhere between, I would say, 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. However, there are some indications that it might start a little earlier than that, so it could have a higher impact on that morning commute. So you'll want to be sure to keep up to date with the latest newscast here tonight at 4, 5, 6, and 10. And of course, Kevin's going to be tracking it into tomorrow morning. But for sure by noon, we will be in the thick of things here in the Quad Cities and surrounding areas. The darker blues would indicate some of those areas of heavier snow, some moderate to heavier snow, and that's going to continue through the early afternoon hours before it starts to taper off to light snow around 2 or 3 o'clock, and then exit the TV6 viewing area between, I would say, 3 and 6 o'clock. So by 9 o'clock, we'll likely see a clearing sky. Still some gusty winds. They'll be out of the north at about 10 to 20 miles per hour as we go toward the end of the event, but during the event, you could see those wind gusts between 25 and 35 miles per hour, and that could certainly lead to some blowing and drifting, especially in the rural areas. So once we clear the sky out here Thursday night, that fresh snow on the ground will lead to a very chilly start here on your Friday morning with temperatures that are down into the teens. So I wanted to kind of give you a little behind the scenes look of how we get this forecast going here. I'll take you behind the forecast curtain, if you will, and we're looking at the probability here of 2 or more inches of snow. So a lot of colors on this map here, but notice from the Quad Cities points to the northwest, 95 to 100% chance for at least 2 inches of snow. Notice that probability decreases quite a bit as you head off to the south and east toward Burlington, Kewanee, Galesburg, and Princeton, and even higher than that as you get toward the Peoria area. So we'll take it a step up. We'll go to the probability of 4 inches or more of snow, and notice from the Quad Cities up toward Savannah, Galena, Maquoketa, Tipton, Anamosa, Dubuque, that's where we have anywhere from an 80 to a 90% chance of getting at least 4 inches of snowfall. So you can kind of see where we're going here. From the Quad Cities and points to the northwest, that's where we have the higher probability to see the most accumulation. So here we are at 6 inches or more. We're again at a little bit less of a probability of that here in the Quad Cities, generally about a 50 to 60% chance. However, the chance is still there to get up to 6 inches. And then beyond that, I don't think many of us are going to see much higher totals than 6 inches. But you can certainly see some of the models here are indicating that we could see up to 7 inches. So this particular little ensemble of models that we use to help guide us to predict the weather, showing anywhere from 4 to as much as 7 inches of snowfall. So that leads us to our actual snowfall forecast. Still looking at a good 3 to 6 inches here in the Metro Quad Cities, with some higher amounts possible anywhere you see those yellow shadings. And notice they're very isolated in nature, so that's what makes this forecast a little more difficult, because where we have that heavier band of localized heavier snow, that's where we could see 7 or 8 inches of snowfall. I don't think it's going to be terribly widespread, but a general rule is most of the area 3 to 6 inches of snow. I would say from a line from Mount Pleasant to the Quad Cities to Rock Falls and points to the northwest. So that's why we do have that winter storm warning in place, where we have that winter weather advisory, generally a 1 to 3 inch range in snow totals. And as always, there could be some locally higher or lower amounts within these ranges. It's very hard to pin down what one side of town will get versus the other side. But regardless if you're getting 1 inch or 6 inches of snow, still going to lead to some extreme travel difficulty here due to the fact that we are going to see some of that snow blowing around as well. So the travel forecast, we're giving it the yellow light in the morning just because that's when the snow is going to just get going. We're not going to have as much accumulation, but again, it doesn't take much accumulation of snow on the roads to create some travel difficulty. So we'll give it to the yellow light here on Thursday. Again, the heaviest snow is going to arrive around late morning to around midday. So lunchtime, yeah, we're going to give it the red light. We'll give it the red light for the afternoon commute as well. Toward the evening, we'll probably still see some issues even after the snow comes to an end. We'll have to give the plow some time to get out there and clear the snow, but there could be some impacts here into tomorrow night. But as we do get that snow out of here, of course, the conditions are going to improve. We'll just have to kind of deal with the cold here as we head into Friday. But luckily, we do see some warming temperatures here as we head into the weekend. So that's going to help melt some of that snow. We were thinking maybe some 50s here the other day, but given the fact that we could see a half foot of snow in some areas, I think 50 will be hard to come by, but we'll at least get above that freezing mark. So for the latest weather information, you can go to kwqc.com. Also, if you haven't already, download our news app and weather app. We'll give you updates there, but you can see we have the First Alert weather article that is pinned to the top of the page. This is also pinned to the top of the news app as well. You can get the latest video update. Kyle Dickens and Teresa Bryan will be in at 4, 5, and 6, and they'll be updating this as well. But we kind of break down the details of the winter storm event coming in, get the latest advisories, and get the latest forecast to what we are expecting. So definitely want to stay tuned on air and online for updates here. And we, of course, will continue to update you as we head throughout the day tomorrow. Also, we have several snow emergencies, in fact, for area cities and towns. So we've got those listed on our website as well. Here in Illinois, you can see the Sterling Rock Falls area. We have some snow emergencies. And again, with each city, it gives the specific details of the snow emergencies. And we continue to get those really every 10 or 15 minutes through our emails. So we will have our digital team update this here as we head throughout the night. And of course, if there are any school delays or closings, you can also find that here on the website. In fact, we'll hover over the weather tab here. If this is, oh, here we go. It's up at the top. Closing and delays there on that orange bar there. And right now, the only one in our system is the city of Durant announcing their snow emergency from noon to 7 o'clock tomorrow. So I assume later tonight and especially tomorrow morning, any school delays or closings will be filtering in, and of course we will run those on the bottom of the screen on TV6. So quite a bit to keep track of here as we head over the next several hours. So we are going to continue to keep you updated. As I mentioned, we're getting the latest data coming in, and it does appear that the storm might be tracking a little farther to the south and east. So that's why we are under that winter storm warning here in the Quad Cities, because it looks like the bulk of the 3 to 6 inches of snow will fall here around the Quad Cities and It's just off to the north and west. And while you guys look at that, I'm going to pop up the Facebook Live and see if there are any specific questions. Let's see. Bear with me here as I pull up the KWQC page. Yeah, here we go. Turn down my volume here. All right, so Sarah Iverson is asking about how much snow for Keokuk, and we will go ahead and pull up that snowfall map for you here real quick so you can see what we're talking about as far as the potential for snowfall. Keokuk will be on the lower end of the totals, so we're looking at perhaps 1 to 2, maybe up to 3 inches there in Keokuk. We'll have to deal with perhaps a little bit of sleet mixing in as well. So we will continue to keep an eye on that trend as well. So if there is a little more sleet and freezing rain mixed in with the snow, that would definitely cut down on totals, which is kind of what we're hinting at, what we're thinking might happen with a little bit of warmer air aloft or temperatures above freezing above the ground. So even though it might be 30, 31, 32 degrees here at the surface, you go a couple thousand feet up in the air, get that temperature above freezing, the snow tries to melt into rain but doesn't quite make it, so it stays into like a little ice ball, and that's how we do get sleet to develop. So Jim is asking how much snow for Burlington, or I'm sorry, for Silvis. Jim is asking about Silvis. Silvis will be in that 3 to 6 inch range. Burlington, that's Elsie's question, that'll be in the 1 to 2 inch range, possibly up to 3 inches. Bettendorf will be 3 to 6 inches. Fulton, Illinois in that 3 to 6 inch range as well. So yeah, you can see on the map here the specific locations or the specific ranges for each location. So again, any shift in this storm, like we've kind of seen the southeastern shift today, will mean the difference between a couple of inches of snow. So we're going to keep a close eye on this track here as it might wobble back and forth a little bit, which could have an impact on these totals. But again, it does look like from the Quad Cities and areas to the northwest, that's where we are going to see the heaviest snow through this event. So again, you can get the latest updates on KWQC.com. Be sure to download our free TV6 News app as well as the QC Weather app. That QC Weather app is going to be updated hourly with hour-by-hour forecasts as well as video updates here throughout the winter storm. So we're going to be sure to keep you updated here on TV6. And of course, it's just after about 3:15 here on your Wednesday. Of course, we're doing this live stream on our website as well as our Facebook Live to give you an update on the winter storm. We're going to continue to keep you updated here on our newscast tonight at 4, 5, 6, and again at 10 o'clock. So be sure to stay with TV6 for the latest. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to hang tight here as we get us off the live stream and get you back to the 24-hour Weather Channel or whatever program you are watching on our website. Have a great day.